here today, Allen, I want to say thank you for coming and visit our shop here. I know you for a long time, and I definitely appreciate you being here today, and happy to see you. And
yes, sir.
Wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit back. How did we met? How did we came across, it's many years ago, and, and can you tell us something about how did this happen?
I'll give the story. So first off, thank you for having me here.
Okay.
I remember it's kind of funny seeing this building that you guys are in over the years, how every single year I feel like you're adding some type of new addition to it. And congratulations on, obviously you, your team, and everybody's success. So Raul and I, we've known each other for a while now. So obviously I was at 710 ESPN for a number of years. I remember the first time that I met you. This is how I met you. It's kind of an indirect way of how we met. Max Kellerman, who back in the time, Max had a show with Marcellus Wiley. Max and Marcellus. At that time, it was before I started Lakers Talk. It was before I was doing a lot of, my own stuff on the radio. Maybe some people know, maybe people don't know, but for 10 years, I was on the partnership side, the sales side for 710 ESPN. Had a really good relationship with Max. Max hits me up one time and says, Al, you got to talk to this guy. He's like, you got to talk to this guy. You got to talk to this company, Power Pro Plumbing. He's like, you got to talk to them. I'm like, all right, give me some details. What's going on? He's like, you won't believe it, Al. There we are, Thanksgiving. We have family coming over. Max was with his family out here, and they had an issue. A plumbing issue, whatever it was. And he's like, who the heck do we call? We have family that's coming over. There's a plumbing issue. It's Thanksgiving. Nobody's going to be available. Nobody's going to come. And he's telling me the story, and he's like, and my wife goes online, and she's trying to search, okay, who should we call, whatever. And Power Pro came up. And he said that we reach out. I give them a call. Did he reach out? I don't know if you two talked directly in the beginning, but he's just telling me the story. He's like, they come out, they take care of everything. Who works on Thanksgiving? He's telling that entire story. And that kind of started our relationship, because what I was doing on my side, when you're on the business side, especially, in the audio space or radio space or whatever the case is, you really, really want to start partnerships that are organic. And if Max can have a personal story about working with your company, then maybe there's a chance we can all work together and Max can start talking about the company and everything else. But I'll tell more about it. That was my version of the story. What was your version of what?
So it started with, actually, he called us, and I guess he was so impressed with our service. Like, he really say, wow, this company came in Thanksgiving, which I was already kind of happy to see someone in Thanksgiving, but God, this came in and they were really, really surprised with the type of service and the genuine of helping somebody, and he was impressed. And then somebody, I guess because of that, I don't know if he had experience with somebody previously, and then he have somebody that represented and say, I want you to reach to this company because this company did an amazing job, and I was so happy that I find somebody, but also he was so impressed that he wanted to see if we could do any type of business. Well, somebody did reach to me, and he said, oh, you know what, Max called you. He was so happy, and he wanted to promote your company. And I told him no. And I said, no, we're good. And he was like, what? First thing he was shocked for me to say no to him, because he said, like, I'm Max. Like,
nobody says no. Max.
So he wasn't used to that. So for that was, he was so intrigued. You have unbelievable service and company that I want to promote it. I usually told people no. You told me no. And he was so intrigued. So now he say, well, and then obviously after I say no 2 times, it's not that he was not, it was just, we're fine. We didn't need it. I wasn't looking for radio or anything. It was just a little surprise too.
Yeah.
And then I think after to say no to 2 people.
Did you know Max at that time?
No.
Okay.
Well, I knew him as far as the show.
But so you knew of him?
Yes.
You knew
yes.
Max.
I used to listen to Marcellus and his show, and I was actually a big fan because he was just all as English. Oh, yeah.
That was one of the best shows on radio.
Yes. We actually built a good relation years later. But going back to that, after I say, 2 times no, and then you come in. And that's when you reached to me and say, listen, Max told me here, like he already sent somebody, and he's calling you say, I need to reach to Allen or somebody that's going to go and talk to this company. And that's how you came in.
Yeah, I had a really good relationship with Max, and we had a couple of accounts that we worked together. So I think him and I both knew how to work things. And I think, again, I say the most important thing. This wasn't any company. This was a company that he had a really, really good experience with.
Yes.
So me, on the business side, if somebody tells me that, well, we should at least sit down and have a conversation, right? Like this is, Max is genuinely talking about how he was impressed with your company and he wants to use that microphone to tell other people about your business. Well, then we should at least sit down and talk. And if we sat down and talked and you said, still not interested, or if you said, you know what, that budget doesn't make any sense for me, whatever the case is, that's okay. But at least we can kind of sit down and I could try to paint the picture of why you don't always have natural connections. So when you have one, you really try to push for it. That's how our relationship started.
Correct.
And it started obviously that long ago. Now, the difference is our relationship never ended after that. I could tell you, just kind of share some personal stories. And you have a great business. You run a great business. You guys are serving Southern California proudly, and you're doing it the right way. But my relationship with you has gone far beyond whatever your business is.
That's right.
So, I say that because, it's interesting when you're in the business or the industry, you have maybe somebody that's a business acquaintance, and then you have other people that you kind of put into a different category. You and I have talked about many more things other than plumbing service or heating and air conditioning or something like that. You've talked to me about much more things other than Lakers basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the case is. So that's kind of part of building the relationship. So however long that was, I don't even remember what year, maybe 2016, maybe something like that.
Well, yeah, Max was doing a commercial for us for almost, I think it was like probably 8 years, around 8-9 years. Man, we were so happy to have Max on the corner say, yeah, let's talk about this company. I think I was not smart on my part to say no, but I guess that worked out that way. He said, let me call Allen because Allen will make it happen. I think and you did. Kind of still remember that you invite me to the station. They say, Max wants to meet you and wants to talk to you. As we're walking into the station, they're doing the live show. And we actually have a video where he talks about, yeah, we got Power Pro here at the house. And we're walking in and he's talking about us and we're about to call business. And it's kind of ironic because Max was talking about with Marcellus, yeah, we got this company I call and they came in an amazing job. And now they're going to do business. And Marcellus say, whoa. So how does this work? You call them and you pay them. And now you're going to talk about them and they're going to pay you. He said, well, yeah, that's how it works too. But he was just so happy to have business. And to be honest,
and it was Max, real. It was organic.
I said, Max, thank you. I was so happy that we did the business for all those years. You're unbelievable. We're super happy. You told the story. You told the testimonial with Power Pro. And I want to thank you for that, all those years. And we talked to you a few times here and there. Actually, I recently texted him, during the holidays. And I just want to say thank you for that. And also, after that, obviously, we have many different conversations. And then, so let's go into your journey a little bit about it. Okay, it's always Power Pro. We got 27,000 positive reviews. I told people, 27,000 positive reviews, that tells the story. But that's not easy to accomplish if you're not doing something right. That's why we are so proud to say that. Because that Max being impressed with the service, well, for us, that's every day. That's how we go about our business every day. Willing to serve and help somebody, having the right attitude, but always do the right thing and see what they need and want and be able to deliver that. That's Power Pro, but that's on the culture here. But let's talk about Allen right now. Tell me, Allen, so obviously, what is your journey? What are you going through? Tell me a little bit about what's going on with as far as you working in today's, right?
So it's interesting. When I left ESPN LA, when I left 710, and obviously we've had a relationship. Most of our relationship was when I was at 710, but you're somebody that I've known for a while, and I remember when I had left, there's a few people that I had called. You're one of them. and kind of, hey, here's I don't know exactly what the game plan is, but I know that chapter at that company is done. It was 15 years there, if you take the combination of everything that I did. And, there's a few people that you can pick up the phone and call and ask. It could be a personal question. It could be a business question. It could be many different questions. You were one of those people. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that. That feedback. I'm always being honest of what I would do, things or things that I experience. And I appreciate you, being on that list that you make the phone call. It means a lot to me. And I want to thank you for that. And definitely it's meaningful to me, but we have that relation, different conversations that we talk about. And we have this we say genuinely care. Well, we genuinely have a relation that we talk different subjects in life and business and be able to communicate that. And, whether it's some business and now translating to personal and now new business. Yeah. And I'm definitely happy to see, on this new journey. And I know you're going to do well because that's just Allen. Allen always finds a way. And you got that genuine serving, helping, and through your work, through the way you go about your business. And I know you're going to do well because of that. But definitely want to say thank you for taking the time and making that phone call. It means a lot to me as well.
Well, there's a reason why I made it. I mean, you're also, and this is kind of a funny story. I had, aside from, what I was doing on the business side and the audio side, the broadcasting, everything else, years ago, I was in the process of trying to build a home down in San Diego, a rental property that I had. And it was, there were a lot of things up in the air.
Yeah, I remember.
And you came with me down to San Diego. You came down with me to El Cajon to give your opinion of what you think I should do. So that's just a good example of this is well beyond just, whatever we did business-wise when we were there. You came to the home that I grew up in, and my mom actually prepared us Middle Easter.
Middle Easter. Your mom there and
sitting for lunch. Yeah, we were sitting right there having a good Middle Easter meal.
I met your mom, and it was definitely different food than that I never tried. It was so good. Yeah. It was, I still remember here.
So I say that because, I could obviously trust that you always had my best of interest, and it was beyond any of that. Sitting here today, a little bit of my journey. So it's the first time I've ever kind of started my own business. It's the first time that I don't have the security blanket of a check coming in from a corporation or from a company. I got to go out there and make it happen. It's completely different. At the same time, there's a lot of similarities. I think I have an audience that is not just in LA or anything. I have an audience that when you're on YouTube, you got the ability, just like you guys will post a lot of this, anyone from anywhere can tune into it. So there's definitely a base of Laker fans that have listened to me for a while, have listened to me on 710, have listened to me on YouTube, and trust that at least to the best of my ability, I'm going to talk about Lakers basketball and get guests on and talk NBA and talk things that I think are relevant. And it's the process of just kind of building your own platform, your own channel. However, what comes with that is much different responsibilities than I'm ever accustomed to. So at one point you decided, I know you've told me your journey and how you used to work for a company. And at one point you decided, I'm starting my own business, and an X amount of years later, here you are probably still grinding like you were before, but it's a different type of grind. And I think there's definitely a part of me that looks at someone like yourself or looks at other business owners that I know and wants to try to, see if I can potentially have employees working under me. I could potentially help them grow in their business, in their industry, in their whatever it is that they want to pursue. So the mindset is just wildly different than what it was a year ago because you are on your own and you have to figure it out on your own.
So going back to, for obviously, starting a business or building a business, it's three very concepts that you had to really understand. It is the trade. It's whatever that you do, right? Your specialty, whatever that is. And then you have people. You have to know how to work with people, manage people, and understand people, because we have to know how to work with people. And then you got the business side, and there's something unique, kind of ironic, because I think since I can remember, I'm always done the trade because I have the passion of almost 40 years, and I still have the same desire that when I went back almost 40 years ago. I still care for the trade as much as today than 40 years ago, because the trade did so much for me in a personal life and a business and career. And then, of course, working with people over 35 years, I managed and worked with people, and always people wanted to work with either Power Pro or Raul one way or another. And so that working with people, I can also understand, but also the business. I have something, I do a lot of real estate on the side too. On the home, I do have real estate, and I think I also do rent. I love renovating, building, renovating. So I think having that mindset, I think be able to help you a little bit. I think it kind of worked for me.
Can I just say this? But I feel like everything that you do, you genuinely have interest in.
Yeah.
And it's, when I got here today, and I've been to this office plenty of times before, and instantly you wanted to show me, hey, Al, look what I'm doing with the vans. We got a new branding that we're doing. Look at the color scheme that we have. Then we walked into the building. I'm trying to take from the color scheme that we have outside, and I want to bring that in here. Look at the lighting here inside in our training room. We feel like if the lighting is better, then the atmosphere is better.
Yeah.
Now, at one point did you talk about what the actual business is? The entire time it was more about the bigger picture. It's about training your employees. It's about trying to create an environment where they feel like they want to come to work.
Yeah.
And I think that you're the type of person, and there are people like this. It doesn't matter if I told you, Raul, this is a restaurant. Can you run that restaurant tomorrow? You're going to figure out how to run that restaurant, and you're going to create an environment that is similar to here. You want good people. You want to make sure that you're helping them and their families and everything else. That's a trait that is selfless. And I think the reason why you've had the amount of success that you've had is because your blueprint, your foundation has been not worried about you. It's worried about the company. And it's almost like you work for the company, even though it's your company, and you treat it all the same.
I work for the process of the company as well as everybody else, I call them. We have a few things that we have in here. I have the sentence in there that I have used those for 35 years at least. And there's one of this, ability might get you to the top, but it takes character to stay there. And what that means, just because you have a skill to achieve something and you get there, how are you going to stay there? And I see people changing with success, with money, by not or having arrogance or having money that change how you think. So to me, it's very important that you understand the word character. How you got there is the same way you're going to stay there. And being humble, being hungry, humble, genuine, and don't let money or success get on the way of continue to grow, but also you view differently. That's the one I use. And then I use the other one they call great people. It's nothing wrong with being good, but good is you. You be good, and this is you. Great, it's others. So if you want to be great, it's about what you work around you, or how do you make somebody else better. So if you want to be great, it's not you, it's people around you. So to be great, it's about how you impact around you and make people better. And those, I always use it. And one thing is, and I always use that money should not dictate how you think, but money is, I call it storage. You can store, it's like you can, just for me, it's very personal that money cannot change so much how we go about everyday business, but helping people, it's a fulfilling way on your life that you're going to enjoy helping and developing people. And I like that. To me, success is achieve something you want, help people, and somebody you can celebrate with it. And to me, those are success. And yeah, money can help you, but it should not define you. But that's in there. Going back to, let me tell a little story a little bit about, I'm so grateful for those years. I want to tell a couple of things that I did with Allen that is so unique. I'll tell you what, playing golf with celebrity, that was pretty priceless, because I playing golf with celebrities and I have all those memories, and that's so cool. That people say, you did play with them? And you go, yeah. So be able to play golf with them, that was pretty cool.
Sure.
Another thing that was so cool that I was, part of ESPN and you guys, but also you made that happen. I went to the SP Awards.
That's right.
I don't know how many people can say, hey, you went to the ESPN Awards.
That's right.
That was like, whoa. But that's not it. Went to the after party of the ESPN Awards with all celebrities. That's like a whole different way of thinking. That day was...
Well, the ESPY Awards, let's say you got, I don't know, let me see. Thinking about the arena, let's say you got over 10,000 people there, 15,000 people, whatever it is, right? For the ESPYs. Well, the after party is probably 2%, 3% of that, right?
Yeah.
So now you have this, you had all the celebrities that were at the ESPYs and the athletes and things like that. And then now you're in this like more intimate, very intimate setting. It's like a ballroom where all those people are still there.
But they're all celebrities.
I know.
You were hanging in there. I was hanging in there with them. You know who was that day? I was the first
Tell
time.
me some of the people that,
Yes.
I'm trying to think here. I don't even know.
Well, let me tell you, with special guests that they sing together, LL Cool J and Ice Cube. That happened because of the ESPN. I was there watching how they got interact together. And then you turn one way and you see football, basketball.
Everybody. Yeah.
And you see all these people, and I'm like, whoa, it's like a kid on a candy store and just looking like that. And you see all this. I forgot about that. Yeah, it was
That's funny. I forgot about that.
I got those memories. That one more. Remember, we went to with the Lakers to New York and Cleveland.
I do remember that.
That was pretty cool. We experienced that too.
Knicks, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Cavs. This one, LeBron.
Yeah.
Still part of the Cleveland Cavaliers. We had some cool road trips that we went to.
Yeah.
So that was the second time I think I've been to Madison Square Garden. And if you've never been to a Knicks-Lakers game, I highly, highly recommend. Make it a bucket list thing. Go to a road trip. Usually they play Boston, New York, like kind of around the same time. Go to the Madison Square Garden. Go to the Garden in Boston as well. Those should be, for Laker fans, that should be something that you do.
But travel with the team there. I mean, now people be in the same hotel where they're there and be able to go there. And I mean, that was pretty cool. I mean, I thank you for that. You make that happen.
I like to make it sound like I did that. I didn't do that.
Well, obviously,
that was the old company that had that power.
You had to do some things in there to influence that, because I mean that was pretty cool. So got definitely a lot of memories, and those are pretty cool. I mean, I know we shared moments there, but that was so cool that I want to thank you definitely for that. But going back to Power Pro for a minute and say, you call us for service. Why people should call Power Pro? What is your testimonial when it comes to Power Pro that you think, service? Give me something that you feel, you know what, this is my spirit. This is what I believe coming from your perspective.
Well, I think everything starts at the top. Yeah. And let me use a sports analogy for this. I think that there are sports teams out there that you just know, well, that team's going to be really good because they got good ownership. And it just kind of starts. It trickles from the top and it works its way down. And every single year, that team is competing and they're in the playoffs, so they got a shot at winning an NBA championship. And then there are other teams out there that you're like, all right, well, I know that ownership isn't all that great, and it trickles down to the bottom, and they're usually always in kind of the same category, hoping and praying that something goes okay. I use that as an example because you're on the top of what it comes to this company, and there's a reason why the company is 25 years and counting. There's a reason why you've been in the industry since the mid-'80s, and you've been doing what you've been doing. All people want to know when they have an issue with a plumbing issue, heating and air conditioning, something like that, is the job just going to get done? Are the people going to do it the right way? Is the service going to be done in the time they tell me they're going to do it? Is the pricing reasonable so I'm not spending an arm and a leg just to try to get something mainly done in my house? I think, simply put, if obviously anybody use your guys' services, whatever you promise, you will deliver on, period. And I think you could just kind of simplify it that way. That's what you've been anytime that I personally use you guys. And that's what you've been, period, in the industry in Southern California for a long time.
You know, obviously, in almost 40 years, I have come across a lot of people in the industry. They know me, which is pretty cool. And thank you for those words. I appreciate that a lot. And, you know, when it comes to that, I care for the trade a lot. So to me, I care for the trade. We bring people into the trade. We train in-house to so they see what what the career look like.
Yeah. Yep.
But having the right mind, the right attitude, and willing to serve and help people, because of that, the customers benefit, and because customers benefit, 25 years later, Power Pro is probably, and I don't know if that's good I say that, but name, brand, and reputation of Power Pro is probably on the best in LA, if not in the whole country, because 27,000 positive reviews, you don't get that, and that's because our employees here, or our people here deliver the service story. We even have a service story, and I even have a jingle. I'll play to you in a minute there. We're so cool that jingle represents what we do every day. But going back to bring people into the trades, so we care for the trades, and obviously customers benefit, and with all customers benefit, and we benefit, employees benefit, but also the community. We do a lot of things in the community. So for us, we call it 3 wins. If not, probably more here. Probably we call it 4 wins if I want, because everybody wins. But everybody wins when it comes to working with Power Pro, whether it's the trade, whether it's the customers, or whether it's the community, or whether you want to come and work for Power Pro. I mean, we have that system here that we genuinely care to help somebody. And whether a customer, employee, community, it doesn't matter. For us, it's doing the right thing and always helping somebody. And that's the story of Power Pro. And I think I definitely kind of, take that moment. And so you're talking about it, I guess, to talk about it, but we genuinely mean that anyway. So
Sure.
After those years, we definitely see that. But so when you see the training here, what do you think about somebody building and coming into the trades? What do you think in there here?
I think the thing that stands out most is, you guys are really, really serious about making sure people know what, at least the people that you hire, you can, and I don't know this 100%, so you'll have to answer it for me, but you're willing to work with somebody to get them where you want them to be. They don't have to be somebody that is, it's almost like think of a baseball team that's putting somebody in the minor league system, and it's like, we're going to help you get to the majors. It's going to take some time, how much you're willing to work, but this is our entire process that we have here. From the moment, you walk in, obviously, to the parking lot, and you work your way up here, it looks like a classroom in here. Yeah. It literally looks like, from a training perspective, it looks like a classroom. You got that whole other room over there where now they're actually working with the equipment. So you could tell that this is not just, let's get as many jobs as we can and make as much money and then not have a repeat customer. This is a process from A to Z. So that's what I see when I see it all. Yeah, obviously, yes. So for us, we definitely, the word character I was talking about earlier about, it's important, right? But to me, it's building a career is going to take a little bit of time, and people has to commit to that. And for us, we've shown the map raw about this is what career look like. Sure. This is the things, the benefits, and this is the things that we do here at PowerPoint, and it has to match. And people love that there's a process, there's a map raw to build a career, and we're just looking to make sure you have the right mind, the right work ethic, and that you really genuinely have that serving others, right? Because here it's about serving and helping, and you have to love that part. As far as the trade, you can learn that, but having the right mind, the positive mind, and having the right attitude, it's we say hiring attitudes, and we have the attitude, but we build careers. But you have to have the right mind. You cannot be on the way of whether it's arrogance or I don't need to, or no, it's about serving and helping, and benefits come behind that anyways. But that genuine that's foundational, right? That means that's kind of what I meant by, you can take that blueprint and whatever type of business that you're running. I would imagine most successful companies where people want to be there, that's a blueprint that has a similar, that's a foundation that you can take as a blueprint to multiple companies. All right, well, we're not talking about Power Pro, but now we're going to talk about the Lakers. Yeah, that's right. Woo! That's what you were ready for. The Lakers. I'll tell you what, I've been a Lakers fan since Jerry Buss, and I'm thinking, but obviously that's you. Yep. That's you, Stop. Let's talk about the Lakers. Okay. What about those Lakers? What do you think about the Lakers right now? I think we're very fortunate to, for the first time, I think in a while, get a chance to see what the future of the Lakers is going to be. But still at the same time, be in the present situation where they can still be very competitive. Now, the West is the West. It's going to be a very difficult task to try to get out of the Western Conference. But it's such a unique team that's put together. It's not perfect. They got their holes. But this is the first time that you could say, I know what life after LeBron's going to look like. I know that one of the most talented international players in the world, in Luka Doncic, is going to be with the Lakers for, I imagine, at least 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, whatever the case is. I think the chapter of LeBron and Anthony Davis was a successful chapter, but that success came in the first year, and then it didn't have additional success as in winning an NBA championship. I think that chapter closing is probably the perfect time for it to close and the perfect time for us to kind of see what the Lakers can build out. What it is today is not what it's going to look like in a year, and it's not going to look like what it's going to look like in 3 years. But clearly the Lakers found their next guy, like this franchise has been able to do since, go back to however long that you want to go back to. They finally got their guy again, and I think he's the right guy to build around. He's got some stuff that he's got to work on as well, but it's impossible not to kind of get rejuvenated and excited again about Lakers basketball.
So, obviously, I talk about work ethic, right? Work ethic is a going way. I go back to Kobe and talking about work ethic, right? That's about his...
The ultimate. You can't get any more work ethic.
I still have a couple of stories, and I'll go there back answer the question is when, fall in love with fundamentals, shooting free throws, not, I always say one thing about Kobe that I always admired is he was not the faster, the most athletic, and the most skill when it came to ability. But God,
he's going to outwork you.
Yes. Yeah. He did way better than people can imagine because I think the work ethic, the mind that he put into, you don't do that because his ability was probably, I'm thinking maybe an A, but the way he delivered the skills like a 10 plus.
Sure.
And you don't do that unless you practice or you have a work ethic. But to me, one thing about Kobe that I admire was his footwork. A lot of people don't know footwork. It was unbelievable. How he kind of moved.
Sure.
And then he kind of steal the skills of that Michael Jordan, turned around.
Sure.
Akeem Olajuwon came out from his footwork. Mm-hmm. And so he took everybody's skills and he said, whoa, let me put it all together. Mm-hmm. But let me practice every day to master that because I think that he outworked everybody. And that was the difference. That's a work ethic. That, to me, biggest thing I admire with Kobe is the work ethic and the mindset.
That's why probably the biggest reason why him and Shaq couldn't get along.
Yeah. Oh.
Because Shaq's work ethic, just to compare the two. Now they're, one's a 7 foot, 300 pounder and the other one just body wise, it's different. Kobe, I'm sure couldn't understand why people didn't want to work as hard as he did.
Because he was
the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. And there have been plenty of players in the NBA or basketball players that, look, there weren't too many people that looked like Shaq in the NBA. But there were a lot of players that looked like Kobe in the NBA. And the difference between Kobe and those other players, 6'6", something along those lines, he just outworked everybody. But that's probably a main reason why him and Shaq had issues because Kobe wanted Shaq to work as hard as he did.
So there's a story there that a lot of people know, but I know. And I don't know if I share the story with you. So I think when Kobe started on the league, and obviously he was different, he was focused to what he wanted to achieve, be the best player, and I'm going to work everybody, and I'm going to practice and to, work everybody. And and obviously he didn't hang out with everybody there on the weekends. He wasn't that. For him, that's not what I want. And Shaq started creating a little bit of a difference because of that. I say, no, well, he think he's better. He think he's different. And then instead of working with a guy that he's serious, he wanted to almost throw under the bus. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know. Rick Fox came in and helped Kobe. I say, why you have a problem with the guy? Actually, it went like this. I thought you wanted to win a championship, Shaq. He said, I do. He said, well, why you have a problem with
The guy
somebody
as dedicated as that to win
that guy, the only thing wants to win is championship, so why you have a problem with that?
Mhm.
Rick Fox created that first step of glue them together. Because a lot of people, that it was like, no. Because he said, dude, this guy wants to win. Obviously, you don't want to win because if you do, you work with them. And I think that was the beginning of a building. Rick Fox, when he came from the Celtics, he set that tone. He created that first glue of, all right, let's change how we view Kobe. And let's utilize Kobe. That was something a lot of people don't know. I know that. An inside Lakers stuff.
There you go.
So, one more. Fisher.
Yep.
Fisher was the glue between coaches, players, and Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Because Fisher had the relation with the coach, with the players, and with Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
So he helped Kobe connect that the Lakers with the maybe at the leadership way of working together. Like, Kobe maybe didn't have to say. Maybe Fisher go and figure it out. Kobe would tell you anyways, but sometimes Fisher said, yeah, I got this. And he communicated between that. So I think that helping that connection, to me, that was a key element of building teams. Rick Fox set the tone, and when Fisher be able to work with everybody because he worked with everybody around, the coach of the football.
Funny when you think of sports and think of franchises, and you think, okay, well, you just need stars. You need more than stars.
Oh no!
I mean, you remember when Kobe and Shaq. Now Kobe was super young. Shaq comes from Orlando. Kobe's just traded to the Lakers on draft night. Del Harris was the coach. They kept losing in the playoffs till Phil Jackson came, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you think that Derek Fisher and Robert Horry and Rick Fox were not important to winning championships, then I don't know what to tell you. They're not going to win. If you think, and fast forward a little bit, let's go to when it was Powell and Kobe. You don't think Lamar Odom and Derek Fisher and Metta World Peace or Trevor Ariza or Andrew Bynum, like that's how you win. Even if you look at today's NBA, the Boston Celtics, last year, you think, okay, Jaylen Brown, Tatum. You know how important Derek White and Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford, that's how you win.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's kind of the example that you're trying to give from a business perspective.
Oh, it is the same thing. To be honest, it's the same thing.
What's the difference?
Well,
these are businesses as well, right?
Well, yes. Actually, you have to have leaders. They have certain skills as when it comes to doing the work. But working with people, developing people, connecting with people. Because remember, it's not about telling somebody. It's about inspiring somebody. So you have to be able to inspire somebody to do something they want or they want to be part of it. The only way you do it is either, tell them as it is. Other people wants to be part of winning. So when you build a business, it's the same thing. You need good leaderships to be able to communicate, inspire, and motivate people to do something that they want to be part of it.
The right atmosphere, culture.
You can only tell so long to somebody something. So you can't tell people always what to do. You have to inspire to do what they want. But what they want has to be part of a team, part of a winning, or part of a company. That's why I view that as the same thing. The reason so that's why I kind of view that, but I understand.
It's a good example, but I like that.
So back then, you remember the Nextel radios, that's phones?
Sure, yeah.
So our office used to be right next to. And you got all these Lakers players. I never mentioned to this. So all these people, the football, the basketball players, they used to go there and get phones. And I was right next to, so I talked to them a few times. Rick Fox was one of them, actually, Shaq was there as well. So I interacted with them a few times because we were next door. Wow. Yeah, next door.
Okay.
I have that phone there, and our office was next to this. That's how I start connecting with some of the players and some inside stuff that I had in there. I never shared that story anyways, but now you know. So you also made me happy when I met Jeannie Bassett. That was pretty cool. When I talked to Jeannie, I told him how big of a fan I was about her dad. Man, she got emotional when I told him, look, I was a big fan of your dad. Matter of fact, I have a picture of him here. Can you sign it for me? And she did. to have a picture signed to her dad and say, "Oh, I'm so glad." And I was able to spend 5 minutes with Jeannie, and man, I don't know, that's priceless for me because one thing I
will tell you this, she is probably one of the most, I don't know, when you kind of think of the Los Angeles Lakers is one of the most powerful brands in the world, right? You think of the New York Yankees, you think of the Dallas Cowboys, you think of Manchester United, Barcelona, the Lakers. Like these are similar brands. She is one of the most down-to-earth, approachable, respectful, kind, of any elite power person that I've ever met.
Yeah.
They're not all like that. You would probably know better than I do, but they're not all like that. That's not how it works. So
think about business, right? So Kobe, the last 2 or 3 years, right? A lot of people criticize Genie when he paid Kobe
the contract, the 2 years, $48 million.
Yes. And Kobe say like, well, I thought you wanted to win. They say, Kobe, no. Right now, we want to pay the max. This is not about trying to make another run with what you. It's about you sacrifice so much for the team. And I remember people say, why would you pay Kobe this much money when he's already, towards the end of his career? Because what he done for the team. You don't think that, so people didn't understand that, look, we're so happy to have Kobe for all those years. And if the last 2 or 3 years, we had to do that, that's a no-brainer. Players will pay attention to that because a lot of teams will not do that.
Sure.
They pay him, say, Kobe.
They will pay them for what they're doing today, not what they did in the past.
Yes. And now it's no. So I don't know if you remember that they got criticized. Like, why would you pay all the money? He's already done. They say, oh, because what he done for the team.
Mm-hmm.
God,
but I think the vision, what you're talking about, of players remember that, then there might be another star down the road that says, hey, the way they treated Kobe. Now, Kobe is different because he was 20 years with the Lakers. Yeah. Now, that's a very unique one. But I know what you're talking about in the sense of even LeBron you could use as an example, right? LeBron has got, as he should, I mean, just the finances make sense to give him whatever he does. But I do think people do look at that and say the Lakers know how to treat their stars. And the Lakers want to be known as a franchise that knows how to treat their stars. They are a star-driven franchise. So I think there's a lot that...
So let me give you something about this taking care of people. This is no different than taking care of your own people. It's the same thing here. But so when you go back and people might think that the Lakers get lucky getting all these superstars. And I always tell people, did you believe in luck? And I say, man, that's a tricky question. Luck is preparation. How well you prepare, what have you done, or how you treat people. Means when they have an opportunity, people are going to see that you are the right company, that you treat people well, that you prepare yourself, and because of that opportunity is fine, but you're ready, but you invest time. So to me, the Lakers, I don't think there is some luck, probably a little bit in there, but they taking care of the players. They doing the right thing, and they take care of their own people. That's why they sometimes always got to be an opportunity because they will prepare and they take care of the employees, which means players. And there's some luck in there, but you don't get lucky by not doing something right. That's what I thought. But you also prepare.
Yeah, luck. I'm with you. Luck is you won the lottery.
Yes.
Other than that, yes, you can have some things go your way, but I do think there's when they say, "Man, that person always lucky." Well, is that person always preparing maybe behind the scenes to put themselves in that position? I think that's probably a better question.
Luck is there, but you have to be prepared because if you're not prepared, you won't see it.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. That's where luck and preparation meets. Anyways, but now let's go back to where we started. Sorry, I'm still learning this, but
no.
Well, Lakers, I'll tell you what. Why that I love this team right now, the Lakers, I'll tell you what, I was mentioning to you a little bit about they can literally start changing how basketball is going to be played because you got 3 people that are so smart about the game, but passing or creating opportunity for others. I always tell people that this is the first time I see it, that it can literally be, instead of passing the ball around, it's angles. It can start with the pick and roll and move, but it's also somebody cutting and be open. So to me, it's about creating opportunity through angles by moving and being three good passers. You got LeBron, you got Luka, and then Luka, and then you got Reeves. They're both very similar by creating, just move, go towards the ball, and create something through angles. You remember Robert Horry was very good at cutting angles?
Sure.
You know, I don't know if you ever paid attention, but that angles, this is like that. So it's about angles and be moving, and maybe there's a shooter there available too, but no, it's move, and angle.
I'll tell you one of the worst things about the game that I cannot stand watching. And it sometimes it happens to the Lakers. Yeah. You've seen this sometimes with Luka, LeBron, whatever the case is. I hate isolation basketball.
Yeah.
One-on-one basketball. Everybody standing around, everyone looking at the ball, nobody moving. Can you imagine Phil Jackson? How quick Phil Jackson would probably call a timeout, who had Kobe and had Michael Jordan in his 11 NBA championships that he got. There is something about this team. Luka can give you 30 if he wants to. LeBron can give you 30 if he wants to. Austin Reeves has shown he can give you 25 to 30 if he wants to. But all of them can also give you 8 to 12 assists a game. And I think, if that's what you're referring to, you got such high IQ always on the floor at the same time, or one of them is out and two of them are on the floor at the same time. Now it comes down to, when you say constant movement, constant cutting, that's when it's the Rui Hachimura, that you're too close, you're paying too much attention to Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. It's Rui that gets an easy basket because he's kind of hugging the baseline, or he's cutting, or one of these other guys.
Because think about it, you can only do like LeBron is 40 with the skill, but I mean, still, what are you going to do? Try to figure it out, move around, and hopefully stay out there so I can pass it? That doesn't work. You kill the flow.
It's stagnant, and defenses can actually, it's an easier way for defenses to guard you.
But if you cut, or if you create a pick and roll and you cut, now that's a whole different game. You eliminate that 10 seconds of just dribble and let me figure it out. Get out of the way. No.
It's the worst basketball.
Just go out there, and maybe a pick and roll could be good, but also, maybe quick
guys cutting away from the ball. Action on one side of the on basket doesn't mean there's no action on the other side. Still action. Even if there's a pick and roll coming, not everybody's just watching on the other side. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that to me is, I don't know if it'll be a new way, but that to me I view it as it's about cuts.
Sounds and like you're excited about this new team.
You know what? You get another 10 years of excitement. I hope we get this deal for the next few years back. But yes, who cannot be excited about a player like that, right?
And I'll tell you, what the next 2 years look like will be different than the next 2 years, 3 years after that. Because eventually, this is going to be a team built around Luka. Not that, not that it's just role players, but we're talking about the stars. There's probably a star right now playing for another team that's saying to himself, I'm a free agent in 2 years. LeBron is probably, if he's not done, he's definitely nearing that stage. I got Luka on the other side over there. I got the LA market. I got one of the most popular brands in the world. I got a franchise that just wants championships. The everything's in motion. So whatever it looks like in the next 2 years, I think will also look a lot different after that. Like, I think this is a brief chapter because of LeBron's age. Nothing more than just with LeBron's age, just because he's 40. But then there'll be a new chapter after that really kind of also ignites what this next chapter will be.
Well, I'll tell you what. This is how simple I can view. You're talking about a brand, right? Players care for their own brand. You in LA? Who's the hottest market right now when it comes to brand? Who? LA. Look at those Dodgers. Look at what they're doing. And so basically coming in and building a whole different marketing or brand, just being in LA.
And it's not just LA. It's the Lakers. And even the Dodgers, that's a brand too of its own that now is at a level that we've never seen before with what they're doing, right? But the reason why I say it's not just LA, because the Clippers are also in LA. It's the brand. The brand is, I think, what really, really separates everything else. Because if Kawhi Leonard or James Harden or, pick whatever player you want, they went to the Clippers, it's just, if you're with the Lakers, it's just different.
But I go back to character here. Remember, some of those players, you have to have the right character. I use characters. The right character to come and be part of something. Take the role, the position that you think you're required to do, or whatever it takes, whether it's do this or that, whatever it is. To me, having the right players on this market and with this big brand that you want, I look at like, I don't want to say this because maybe I don't know if I can control here, but the idea is that you have to have the right players with the right mind. They want to be part of something that is winning. I mean, look how many championships the Lakers have. That means they want to be part of that because it just doesn't happen just because, in LA, there's a reason. Yeah. They want to win. They do whatever it takes. They treat people right. They're always looking for that star that has the right character. I don't know if you hear Jeannie talk a couple of times, and she constantly uses character. I don't know if you ever hear her talk about one players will have the right character. They want to be a winning any cause. And so I hear her say that word character, and that's why. So to me, when you bring some of those players don't have the right character, I don't care of the skill. If the right mind is not there or the character is not there, it doesn't work. So you have to have the work ethic, the right character. They want to be something that is bigger than themselves. But also being in LA, you can create a bigger brand. Of course. Think about Ohtani. He was just down the street. Look at the difference. And I'm just, it's like 10 miles?
But can I tell you, that's the funny thing. That's why I said the Clippers versus the Lakers too, right? The Dodgers versus the Angels, as in, what does that ownership want versus what does the other ownership want? Does that ownership understand what they're doing? Clearly, it's whatever they thought Ohtani would be with the Dodgers, whatever ownership thought, it's probably 10 times better than they even thought from a branding perspective, from everything else. So you're right about that. The brand has a lot to do with it.
The brand, the winning, the culture.
Yep.
So it's a winning, right? But anyways, all right. So let's. What is Allen doing now, or what's up to? So tell us, what is that you're doing today that you say, this is what I'm working, this is what I'm doing, and I'm excited and I'm happy for the next phase of you. Go ahead and.
So I think short term, I think it's just kind of trying to continue to build the best show that I can. This is the channel. The channel is very Laker centric. It's very NBA centric. That's what it is. But building that channel and that brand every single day of trying to find a way. Can I prove this? Can I prove that? I think ultimately the idea and the concept, YouTube offers a whole different world that is very, very unique to how people consume content these days. Believe it or not, there was, when it was, hey, if you had a job at ESPN, that was it. That's the only way you had a microphone. That's not the world today. Anyone can have a microphone. Anyone could start a podcast. Anyone can.
Well, look I'm here today, and trust me, I have no idea what.
Yeah, but again, this kind of comes back to you have an angle and a reason and a purpose. And a lot of people that are behind a camera, they kind of like this raw. They don't need to have the biggest production and the biggest this and the biggest name. They just want authenticity. And I think authenticity offers that. I think people now today can really, really become content creators based on their authenticity, how much they enjoy what they're doing, what their drive is. You still got to have a lot of that other stuff. But I think that's the short term. I think long term, can I create a blueprint that I can maybe take and try to potentially see if there are other channels, multiple channels, things along those lines. So kind of trying to figure it out. It's interesting watching a lot of these other sports platforms that are out there. There's a model, and I think it's just a matter of, can you take that model and see if you can replicate it? So I think that's part of the idea.
So knowing you, I always say being genuine, professional, and you really care. I know you, and I know you will succeed because that professionalism that you have in you, the work ethic, talking about work ethic, very professional, very caring, very disciplined. And you, I call that you very, I would say, how am I going to say this in a way that sounds good? You very quietly aggressive to do things you want. So kind of ironic is like you slowly go and build what you want. You go you got your process, your way of doing it, but you always put out 100% dedication, the things you want and believe. And because of that, I know you will succeed.
I appreciate you.
And that means, but definitely today I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming in. And we went a couple of different angles, but today was going to talk about the company, about the friendship, about what we learned, about the Lakers, and about the future business. And I just want to say thank you for coming in. It means a lot. I consider myself a friend. I hope you tell me it's the same. Hopefully it is.
Well,
thank you.
I'm very fortunate to have you in my life as well, because you have you've helped me. Whatever our business relationship was, put all that to the side. You've been a true friend. I consider you. There's been many times where I've been in a certain predicament or situation. I wanted your opinion, so I look at you as a mentor as well. So I appreciate it as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
Got it, man.